other and who we are and what we're all about. At this time, those of you in the public who may not have met our new village manager, I will turn over the beginning of the event to Bill Sprague. Bill's been with us 4 weeks now, and we're looking for a long, prosperous relationship with Bill. So, Bill,
thank you.
if you're on.
So I've been here 4 weeks, so I know everything there is to know about Ortonville, right?
Yeah.
All right. No, just kidding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple icebreaker exercises with you, if you don't mind. And the first one's a real simple one. It's just kind of getting to know each other. And it's just basically to try to say, you know, why do I do what I do here, whether you're on a DDA board, whether you're on the village council, whether you're on the planning commission. Just tell us what's driving you, what drove you to get involved. Like, I'm a little different example. I'll start out and I'll give you the example. My name's Bill Sprague. I'm the village manager. I like doing this because this is the kind of work I like doing, but I needed a job. So I'm doing this for money. I like the job, but I needed the paycheck. So my motivation is a little bit different than you guys, I would think. You know? So, Liz?
I'm Liz, I'm the village clerk. I do this because I wanted to learn something new and I'm having a blast and I love it.
Matt?
Matt Jenkins, I'm the Executive Director for the Downtown Development Authority, and I took several years of volunteering and turned it into a second career.
So you two are doing it for the money too, huh?
If you're reading between the lines, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to hang out with these guys tonight. That's why we're not sitting at a table with you, so we wanted to make that clear. So if the rest of you could go around, and I'll start with Mark here, and then let's go around this table. Then we'll jump over to Bob and go around that table. Then we'll jump over to Melanie and go around that table. If we can do that, do the same thing.
I'm Mark Butsu. I'm a trustee on the council, and after living here for 30 years, I wanted to get involved, and primarily I do it for the money. And also to keep an eye on Larry and we're neighbors. So that's why.
Okay.
I'm Allison Brower. I am a registered nurse. Went into healthcare because I wanted to take care of people. I think I'm a nurturer by nature. I have volunteered for as long as I can remember. From the time I was in my early 20s in Nogales at a children's clinic to when we lived overseas. Coming back to Ortonville, we purchased a home here in 2000 and moved overseas for 4 years, came back to our home, didn't sell it while we were gone, and I'm so glad. Even though the market tanked and we could have made a bunch of money and probably came back and bought a really nice, great big house, but at any rate, while I was overseas, I had done a lot of reading about pedestrian-friendly villages and cities and looking at the Main Street organizations and just learning a little bit about it. So that's how I got involved. And just to make a difference, to make it even better to live here.
Hello everyone, my name is Dan Ushman. I've been a resident here in the village for about 24 years now. I'm halfway through my third 4-year term as a trustee. I remember way back when I first ran, I called the village a diamond in the rough. I still believe that the village is a diamond in the rough. I came here for the small town atmosphere and the what I would describe as really a slower pace compared to you know, we're in Oakland County, but we're a small village, and really things do slow down once you get into Ortonville because then it helps you relax a little bit. But I've been sitting on the council to be the voice of our residents. I love to, you know, I'm thankful this event's here tonight to get hopefully to know everybody else and to hopefully in the future, I hope this is not the last one, but maybe establish some alignment with the 3 different groups, the DDA, Planning Commission, and Council.
Am I back to somebody? Sorry. My name is Patty Olson. I am new to the council, or not the council, sorry. The Planning Commission, I've only not even been in it 6 months-ish. Melanie asked me to be a part of it. I said, sure, why not, give it a try. I was always involved in volunteering with my children from preschool on up, and then they went and graduated and left me. So I needed to do something. So you guys are it. So I get to do this and be a part of this, and it's a great thing. So.
Hey, my name's Larry Hayden. Most of you probably know me. I've been volunteering in the community almost since we first moved in. One of the first events when we moved in almost 30 years ago is we had a block party on Mill Street, and that was a lot of fun. Everybody had a great time. And since then, I just got involved with a lot of other things. I was the Creek Fest minnow race person for a bit. I've been on the Main Street. I've been on council a couple of times, planning commission currently. I'm also a current member of our CERT team. In the past, I was also part of the Main Street initiative in Ortonville. And I do it because I fell in love with this community, and the sense of community, the sense of people coming together as a community just really is what I find is unique about our village. And I'm hoping that we can ignite that, because my concerns here is that I've seen that, like, some conflict in our community which seems to be going against that sense of community and you know, purpose and all, and I'm hoping that we can all come together as a community and get back on track to being the strong community we have been.
Well, then Bob McCarthy, probably too many of you heard me too many times, probably. I've lived in Brandon Township for my entire life, born and raised here. I've lived in the village since 1965. I've been on the fire department for 33 some years, and I belong to every one of these organizations except the village council. I swore I'd never get into the politics side of it, but I belong to the DDA. I was chairman of that for back when we did the curbing and the trees downtown. So with the planning commission, I knew there was an opening. I was very good friends with Dave Van Dest, and I was interested. So I have you beat. I've only been for 2 days, I think, or since Tuesday on the planning commission, so it's new to me. And I was really interested on getting involved with it. It's important things are happening, and with that, and I just like to help out.
My name is Courtney McLaren, formerly Wright. We moved to Ortonville in '92. I graduated from Brandon High School in 2003. We moved out of the village in December to be closer to my in-laws, who I like to say are aging not so gracefully. Otherwise, we wouldn't have left. And I do it because this is my home. Even though I'm not in the village anymore, it's still my home.
I'm Connie Skornica. I've been a resident here for 26 years. I do it because I like to make a difference, and I like to make a better community for my kids, for my grandchildren. And I came from a smaller town. Well, it's bigger than Ortonville, but I was a EMT on our basic life support ambulance service as a volunteer. I initially was going to set out to go more for serve or volunteer, but I ended up getting appointed to the village council, and I do it because I'd like to make a difference in our community and speak for the residents, and we'll just all try to work together.
Hi, Lee Palshan, Chairman of the Planning Commission. I've been a resident permanently here for the last 40 years. Why do I do this job? To ensure residents of Ortonville a quality of life now and in the future, and hopefully we can do that through quality master plan and zoning ordinance. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya Brights, and I've been a resident of the community for about 24 years. I have been in various volunteer positions, as Patty says, school on up from the beginning. Any place that asks, I love to be a part of that, and I love to volunteer. So this was just the natural next item. I just said when my kids graduated, that would give me more time, and then this would be what my goal was. So I appreciate the chance to be here.
I'm Melanie Nyvell. I'm kind of a newbie. I've only been here about 14 years. I'm a lifelong volunteer with a lot of different programs here in the county, through the schools, OSEF, Oakland County Case Aid, a bunch of them. I enjoy working with people. I own my own business. See, I was a former council member, and I am currently on the Planning Commission, and I'm looking forward to working on the master plan.
I'm Wayne Wells. I've been in my current home for 41 years. We raised both of our kids and went to Brandon schools. I went to Brandon schools. My kids go to Brandon schools. And now I have grandchildren going to Brandon schools. I did leave for 6 years, but came back. I grew up on Bald Eagle Lake in the township. My great-grandmother was a big proponent of community schools, public schools, and she said somebody paid for it for me, and so I'm going to pay for it for the next generation. And so that philosophy has trickled down. And I've been on the Board of Education here in the 90s. I was on the Planning Commission for the village for 11 years, and been on the council now for almost 8 years. And I'm on the council because Dan Eschman showed up one day in my yard and taught me into it. So I don't know where I would have been had that not been the case. But as I say, I got grandkids. My son has a business. He moved his business into downtown Ortonville about 1.5 years ago. Doing very well. And so I'm looking forward to controlled progress. And so that's it.
Hello everybody, I'm Mark Robinson. I've been a village resident for about 28 years now, and I've done some volunteer work along the way. And a little while back, I'm the newest trustee on the village council. And a while back, I was asked several times throughout the years to join in and be a trustee, and so I decided to do it and give back to the community.
Thank you.
My name is Matt Bailey. I'm a pastor at church in Ortonville, Church of the Nazarene, and my family and I moved here 8 years, so I maybe lived here my whole life. I grew up in the Plymouth Canton area, but when we came here, my wife only had 2 homes in her life, and so before marrying me, and so she said, we're going to slow down that number, and so we decided that we just felt like it was healthiest to stay in a place a long time, and that's been one of my goals. I think being a healthy church helps a healthy community and all of that. So I just got involved because I wanted to be able to be a benefit to the community, figure out what I can do.
I'm Rick McAvinci. We moved back, my wife and I moved back to Michigan 21 years ago to Ortonville. Unlike your wife, we've lived 33 places so far.
It's more on money.
Yeah. And anyway, I can't believe we're here for 21 years in the same place. But anyway, I've volunteered a lot, mostly with Scouts in the past, and so I've been on a 21-year sabbatical from Scouts. Now don't tell anybody that. Scout. But anyway, so my volunteering has mostly been with natural resource organizations and such. And so I've been on the Village Planning Commission for the last 10 years. I work as a consulting forester and wildlife biologist, so in other words, my own business. And after 28 years with the Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and a little bit with DNR. Okay, so my interest in the Planning Commission has been largely natural resource management issues that come up, and then everything else that we're tasked to do in the Planning Commission. So I enjoy it. Thank you.
Good. I'm going to ask a question.
Are we having Matt talk?
Huh?
Are we having Matt talk?
No, he already talked.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. I was
I got the baton.
Sorry.
One of the ground rule things that I want to talk about real quick is, should we set a time limit on this meeting? Do we all want to be out of here by?
We have to be on here at a certain time.
Okay, I was thinking more along the lines 7:30, 8 o'clock time. If y'all haven't heard, Mayor prepared, I get those done in about 15, 20 minutes, so we're gonna work on this time. So, do we want to set a time limit, or other than the 9 o'clock?
Should we maybe call to order and do roll call if this is official
Technically, that's correct.
business?
Yeah, we could. We can. Liz, you want to do a quick roll call?
We're all here.
Okay. Bryce? Here. Watsu?
Here.
Eschman?
Here.
Robinson?
Here.
Skorica? Here. Ms. Leva is absent with notice. Wills?
Here.
Hayden?
Present.
Nakanishi?
Here.
Nidal? Here. Olson? Here. Helsham?
Lee, are you here?
Here.
I've been here.
Speak up.
Present.
MacArthur?
Here.
Bailey?
Here.
Brower?
Yes.
Both Prads are absent with notice. McLaren?
She's here.
McLaren?
Here. Sorry, Ms. Warnica was speaking to me. I didn't hear you.
All three boards are here.
There's the end of the bus.
Would the 8 o'clock be?
Everybody's here? All boards got a quorum?
All boards have
All right. First exercise. Are you ready?
How about the pledge?
Pledge.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, well, stand up. Who's Courtney? You got the pledge.
That's fine. Everybody ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
nothing if not patriotic.
Wait. Go sit down there.
I didn't say anything.
Master Matt's going to do the invocation.
That's right.
Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for your grace and your presence here. And we ask, Lord, that you would help us to do the work that is required of us this evening, and to help this community to be what it can be. And we thank you for all that's going to happen, the conversations and relationships that will ensue. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Courtney, did I forget anything else? Am I good? Am I good to go? Can I start?
We did not approve the agenda.
Huh?
We need to approve the agenda.
Hey,
We gotta approve the agenda?
I just said it.
How do we do this if we got 3 boards going? You guys got me confused. So how do we approve it? So how do we approve the agenda? Does each group got a joint vote?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Feel like an auctioneer here.
All right.
Going.
Here and there.
So-
Is that what we went?
We had Hayden and Brower.
Okay.
We have time questions earlier on, maybe 8
Well-
o'clock, is that?
We'll go, we gotta get back on track here. Courtney got to straighten this out here. So, we got a motion and support. Any more discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, we're on the way now, right? Anything else, anybody, am I forgetting anything else? Okay, let's move. You have a piece of paper on your table, pieces of paper that I just gave you. I want somebody at the table to be the scribe or the secretary. When you've decided that you've got a scribe to write for the group, raise your hand. We got a volunteer? Raise your hand.
I'm not great at it.
Patty's the scribe here. Tanya's the scribe here. Wayne's the scribe here. Okay. Now listen very close. Here's the instructions. Within your group, I want you to discuss amongst yourself. I'm going to give you a grand total of 3 minutes. Oh, you want 4? 3? 3 is good. Okay. We want you to say, what do everybody in the table, at your table, agree that you have in common? Example, I could go over here and I could say, everybody at our table has brown eyes. Can't put that on a sheet. Everybody on our table doesn't have brown eyes. Okay? I did this one time and I said, the group said, this is kind of weird, but said, everybody's got 2 legs. And the guy goes, no, I don't.
Oh,
And literally, it was an amputee guy, and, you know, a vet that had an artificial leg, and they, oh gosh, you're right. So don't take anything for granted. Everybody has to agree that it's on the thing, and I'm the official timer, so, once again, it can only go on the sheet, and the winner gets a major prize. Okay? So,
How many?
huh? As many as you can, as many as you guys can get that you have in common. As many as you get. The object,
Quality of life.
the logic is something you all agree on
Lee,
that you all have in common.
Do you have kids?
On your mark, wait a minute, you're cheating.
Do you have kids?
Okay, you guys are cheating.
Children?
On your mark, get set, go.
Yes.
Do we have kids that live in the
I would say desire the best for what that looks like, might be different, but that is more.
are we all married?
What's counts?
I drive a Ford.
Did everybody have kids that went to brand school?
That same crane's on the back.
Well, they went to private schools.
Yeah.
But everybody's sure that's going to be work.
Everybody has to listen. You don't have to everybody or we've all lived.
Points to that.
So we all have lived in the village. I mean, just, yeah, we've all lived in the village. I mean, I live in it. Yes, I have my secretary.
Everybody got one?
I don't know. My home is
Before that,
Go out there and search.
yes, there you go.
born in Michigan. Michiganites, Michiganders.
Does everybody have a job?
I have cars.
Do we all have a car? Are we all?
1 minute.
I said, what do you do?
No eyes.
My wife did last night, so government's comprehensive for that.
Takes care of
I didn't want to ask my insurance because he should have come as a mission of a.
I served on all three.
No. Berkeley, Illinois is the left side.
Is anybody ever going to, like a chairman of a committee?
And the Caribbeans. Oh, you know what? The Caribbeans would be west of Mississippi, yeah. No, south.
15 seconds.
We all have hair.
Okay, all talking stop. Heads down.
Has everybody been?
Okay, last time, okay, no more in. Talking stops, pen down. All right, since we started over here the last time, we'll start over here this time. How many total did you come up with?
12.
Why don't you give them to us?
We all have Ortonville mailing.
Everybody has in common.
We all have one voice and 2 ears. We all desire the best for Ortonville. We're all married. We all like pizza. We all took time to be here. We all like music. We all are Caucasians. We're all born in Michigan. We're all drivers. We've all been out of the USA. And we all love John Denver music.
Okay, now with kind of everything at theirs, I know if I was at a table, I probably wouldn't agree with everything they said. All right? You said 12, right? How many you got over here? 11. Oh. Okay, what did you have?
Volunteer, commitment, we all have children, we've all lived in the village, we all have pets, we all have cell phones, we were all born in Michigan, we're all over 21, barely. We all own our own car, we all own our own home, and we all have hair.
Good. Hey, we didn't clap for this table, let's clap for that table. Okay, so 12, 11, how many?
16.
Woo! Yeah, you're the best.
Okay, so we all agree that we care about the village. We all have history of volunteering. We all have a vehicle. We're all human. We all live in Michigan. We're all married. We're all right-handed. We all have kids. We all live in homes or houses. We all work outside the home. We're all healthy, physically active. We all have some college. We all have done some sports, and we all have a well.
All right. So this table won. I got to figure out what the major prize is. I kind of figured. Yeah, I think you'll be taking home some pizzas if people don't start eating. So that may be the major prize. All right, now you just went through an exercise that allows you to talk and find some common ground on something. Let's make this a little more difficult. We all got a secretary here still? That same process. We're going to take 5 minutes, and what you're going to do is everybody at your table has got to agree on what you all agree on in Ortonville needs to be fixed. So you got 5 minutes, and remember, and I'll be the first one to jump out here because it's probably not a secret. If you jump out there and say sewers, probably not going to get everybody at your table to agree on it.
We don't
Okay?
have sewers, so we can't fix sewers.
There you go. There you go. Good talk. Good thinking. So, I like it. So, you ready, timer?
Ready.
Okay. 5 minutes.
All right.
On your marks. Get set. Go.
From A&W to...
Can we agree to go with more young families? Like growing our community with drawing in younger families.
Boy, they don't want to take over, do they?
This is more abstract.
But you did get
We talked about silos alongside each other cog system. I would say health, community health. No, just
I don't have
I'm down with sewers.
Yeah, no.
That's on.
I'm getting at, we have different stakeholders. And those stakeholders come to the table in order to convince the other stakeholders that they have permission to listen to rather
School route, drug
that I have
walk to
less
school.
interest in. And so we don't have to be offensive towards each other in order to move forward on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Better downtown.
More like volunteering.
Better transparency. I think she wrote. Oh, downtown promotion.
I mean, how would you say that balance between we don't want to be yelling ourselves, but we would like to.
2.5 minutes.
Like, well, but,
Oh, yeah, right. It's not violence, it's sustainability.
Should we say?
Right, but that's what we say.
Everything with the tax base, definitely municipal buildings, drawing all that.
I know, I love how everybody thinks we here.
Aesthetics, community aesthetics. I think it comes under aesthetics and signs and
I mean, they just, sidewalk directors. McDonald's got better.
Yeah, but we got.
Well, 1 minute.
I was finding things to celebrate rather than fixing something because they're talking about things that are going on.
Better use. Better use. We have parks. We have balls. We have all these things. We have probably available to us for nothing.
30 seconds.
Opportunity.
30 seconds.
Better walkability, not just sidewalks, but better walkability. You can't walk to anything that's not just, yeah, that's, can't walk to.
Oh, you're saying on trips.
Not necessarily.
Okay, that's it. Horn goes off.
Should have brought one of those big things.
Okay, started here on 1, started here on 2. Let's start here. How many did you have?
15.
15.
There's a lot of fixes.
That you all agreed you could all work on together,
We
right?
can all agree on it.
But we're not raising.
Said they don't all agree.
Time is the dictator.
I was going to put them on the board, but that's great. You got that many. You want to go ahead and read them off?
Sidewalks, roads, bridges, vacant buildings, drains, younger community members, school route safety, downtown promotions, communication, transparency, sustainability, lower taxes, equipment upgrades, better use of community space, increased recreation opportunities, and walkability throughout village.
And I think we'll go here next, right? How many?
We have 12. We go along with the equipment of the tractor, the DPW tractor that we use a lot. The pavers in downtown, the roads, sidewalks, overall beautification, drainage of the village for when rains and whatnot. Slow down traffic.
Speed bump.
Something. Yeah, but you can't follow over speed
That's
bumps.
tough for Paul.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Bury overhead wires, communication of government, 3 of us. Dumpsters, ordinance enforcement, and something with the DPW facility.
11.
How many, Dan?
How many?
12.
Yeah, 16, 15, 12? How many you got?
12.
Wait a minute.
I want the prize.
It's probably the leftover tea.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we had sidewalks, village entry signage improvements, lower speeding, and master plan needs to be fixed. Communication, fixing open minds, develop comprehensive park management plan, fix water drainage issues, fix the dumpsters, fix blight, toot our horn about the positives, and appreciation for what is going well.
So there's several things, and whoever makes fun of my drawings. But if we were to list all these things and put them on, here we go. If you make fun of my drawings, you got to do it the next time. You got 3 tables. You got one table there, and they've got all their stuff that they agree to work on, right? Or they think we can work on. Now all of a sudden, this second table comes along, and they got stuff there that they work on. So there's stuff that the second table said was over here, that the first table, there's stuff that they both agreed on, right? Like roads and sidewalks, I think, on both of those. And there's stuff that each one had individually that the other one didn't have, correct? Obviously, if there's 16, 12, and 12, they didn't match. Then you got the third table that comes in.
Bill.
Yep.
Here.
Oh.
You can't see we're old.
Okay. Like I said, Melanie. You understand what I'm doing now?
I'm sorry.
Okay. If we were to put these things on a list and put them in these circles, there are things that appeared on all 3 lists. That's the stuff that's right here. That's the stuff that we can put together on a list that says that everybody in this room, or the vast, now there was no disagreement amongst the 3 tables because it appeared on all your lists, right? So all 3 of those are stuff that we can work on as a team, all 3 of us. And then there's stuff that table 2 and table 3 agreed on, you know, down here. Table 1 agreed with table 3 over here. So you didn't necessarily, it's not necessarily disagreement, but it's just maybe it didn't pop to mind, or maybe the communication, I think on every table had something about communications or something along that time. So it might not necessarily be, it might be that this area here is a heck of a lot bigger than we originally thought, right? And that's kind of what this exercise tries to design to do. I didn't want to take up all the time tonight, but what we'll do is don't throw away your lists. We'll go back and we'll capture those lists and put them together, the last one we did, and say, okay, what was common amongst the tables? So if you would, when we leave, give those lists to Liz. You want to collect them now, Liz, so we don't forget? So we're going to steal them.
And the table's numbered at all?
Thank you. I'm keeping track.
Oh, she's taking them. She's taking them.
Our table.
I'm keeping track. Oh, it does. You're right.
Now with that, I'm going to do one more thing, and then I know Larry's got a presentation, right, on the master plan?
Well, not the master plan. It was, because we're all coming together, I know there's been some questions about what exactly is the purpose of the planning commission, what's their role. So I made at Lee's request, I made a short presentation about how the planning commission here, purpose, roles, responsibilities, that sort of thing.
Oh, that wasn't on the agenda, so we're going to add that. I think we could put that under Q&A.
Yeah, we can put it under Q&A. I would like to I'd like to do something, and if the boards don't have a problem, you know that first question we asked? We got a big group of the public here tonight, you know, or several people. I would like to at least ask that first question of, you know, why are you here tonight? Just so we can hear that as a management staff and as the boards. And if you would, just do the same thing we did when we first started this, and if you don't mind, if you're shy about it, we understand that, you don't have to do it. But
Are we allowed to ask for something in addition to just the basic, why are you here tonight? Like, what would the public like to see us do or improve on?
I could take on the.
How about just one or two or three things then?
okay, yeah. Is everybody good with that? Just real quick.
Or the other option is just to have them write it down and get it to us.
I'd rather, I mean,
I'd love to hear it too, but I'm
kind of
just make it full.
Is that okay?
We have public comment sheets here that if you want to say something verbally now, fine. If you don't, you have the sheets available, you can turn it in even anonymously, because there is a place for a name, but you don't have to put it if you have it. Okay, so is that good? So.
Is it okay to?
It's okay with
All right,
you.
yeah, let's go around then real quick. And
we don't have to.
Carl Hayes. I live on 690 Oakwood Road. That's just east of the guardrails on Oakwood Road. And I've been a resident for 30 years. One thing that I would like to mention, Larry said, you know, we could bring up something that we're concerned with. I noticed all three tables mentioned sidewalks. Like I said, I've lived here for 30 years. I cannot walk to the village. I'm in the village, but I cannot get to downtown. I have to cut through my neighbor's backyard in order to get to Allen Street so I can get to town. You're taking your life into your own hands trying to get between the guardrails on Oakwood Road. Okay. Now we've got people that live, you know, all the way up to Pinestead, beyond Pinestead on Oakwood. None of us can get to the village. You have to get in your car to go to the village. Once you're in your car, where are you going to go? The seats in my car are more comfortable than my home seats, so I don't mind sitting in my car. It's got a nice sound on it. You know, go up to Davison, go down to Clarkston. You know, I can't walk to town. I have to drive. You know, so where am I going to drive to?
All right, thank you, Carl. Let's go over here. Anybody want to? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Verna Cole. I'm a trustee here at the library, and I live in Brandon. And I'm here because what you do affects almost every aspect of my life. Not just my life at the library, but my life as a Brandon Township resident. And I'm hoping for more cooperation and more positivity out of this group.
Okay, thank you. Anybody over here? No? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Carrie Welch. I've been talking at some of the village council meetings. I live on Evergreen Ridge, way at the edge of the village, but we still are in the village. My husband and I moved back here. We used to live here in the 90s on Oak Hill Road. In fact, 2 of my children were born with a midwife on Oak Hill Road. We have 10 kids together, 1 husband, he has 10 kids. So I'm used to juggling a lot of things. I spent like 30 years of my life volunteering for every kind of possible thing in community and religious organizations. Now I'm looking at getting involved here in Ortonville. I really love the schools, so I want to stay here. I am so happy with schools. I used to homeschool my children, and I put them in school here because the schools here are fabulous. So I am really interested in safety and in walkability for the village. I was telling Allison, used to live in Grosse Pointe. In fact, Dr. Outlaw was the principal when a couple of my kids lived there. 2 of my children were hit on their bicycles trying to cross intersections in Grosse Pointe, which is, they're both okay now, but I suddenly became very interested in how safe is it to cross the road, to walk, to ride your bike, you know. And then I lived in Flint for a little bit by Kettering, and they did a lot of things with calming down the traffic because people just sped or they went around the speed bumps. The the street light outside my house was hit over and over again. People would go too fast around the curb and this light would just go crashing down. So I am really interested in researching that topic and finding out more how to make our village, safer. Traffic calming devices like solar signs can go on those speed 25 that show your speed is. Different things with like curbs and placement of flowers and plantings can help calm down traffic. It's really amazing to study into. So thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else over here? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Shelby Stewart. I'm from the Citizen newspaper. I'm not a resident, but I hear things from not only all the residents, but all of you guys. And one thing that I hear a lot of is they want more communication, not just amongst your organizations, but with the residents as well.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Cheryl Gall. I've lived here for 30 years. My kids live here and my grandkids live here. My kids and grandkids have all gone to Brandon schools. I've been a township trustee. I'm now on the library board. And I live in the township. I don't live in the village. But as Verna said, what you do affects us. And I have to say I have been embarrassed by all of the things that have been going on. The conflict, the discord, the inability to make decisions, the inability to come together and do what's best for not only the village, but our whole community, including the township. I want that to stop. When the residents come to your meeting and they tell you what they want, and then you vote differently, that's not democracy. You're here to represent the residents and what they want. I used to beg when I was a township trustee for people to come to the meetings and tell us what they want on certain things that we were voting on. I was there to represent people, not there to represent my own personal agenda. And I would like to see that happen here. The Planning Commission, with the DDA, with the council. Please, we're asking to stop what's been going on and let's have communication and positive action.
Okay, thank you. That kind of, I got the Larry. You ready to do your thing?
Sure.
Okay.
I sent Liz my presentation so we can put it up here. I'll also, Lee, if you agree, that I'm going to send it to everybody.
Pardon?
The presentation I made?
Yeah.
If you agree afterwards, I want to make sure I'm going to get that sent to everybody who was invited to this meeting from our three boards.
Okay. In PDF form, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And what we're going to do, like I said, we got the list. We're going to put them together and we'll send that out to everybody of the things that you guys had on the list that you all agreed were common items and kind of represent that. So.
Yeah, while Liz is setting up, I'll just, the reason that we put this together is because there have been some questions about what exactly is the purpose of the Planning Commission. What is your roles and responsibilities? So I tried to capture a few different aspects of that in this presentation. It's just 3 or 4 short slides, nothing very long.
There's seats over here, you guys. Can you guys
Yeah, I can wait by you and grab some more of that pizza.
How long does it last, Larry?
What's that?
How long does the presentation?
Like I said, it's only 3 or 4 slides. I didn't want to spend a lot of time. I just wanted to give enough information so that people can have a general idea.
If the people understand, how long will it last?
Oh,
5 minutes?
5 minutes maybe. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, that's just a random library.
You ladies want to see?
There we go. Okay. Okay. Yep, I will. Okay, so this is just a cover slide. You can go on to the next slide on that. So basically the background, planning commissions are put together basically according to Michigan law. Back in the early days, they realized that you know, with just a council, councils are elected by people, and the people on the council are representing their constituents, the people who voted for them. So they may not necessarily represent everybody in the community fairly or evenly. That's because there's the politics involved behind it. So they decided that the best way to have a second kind of check for that is to have a planning commission that was appointed that could be kind of operate outside of the politics within the community and provide, you know, a different perspective. And then the two bodies working together hopefully would come up with solutions that are good for their communities. As it says in there, elected officials are representatives for the people in the community, and they're accountable to voters. Planning commissioner, on the other hand, is representative of the people. And that was the basic concept of why, you know, how a planning commission is different from a council in terms of their perspective. Next slide. So taking our planning commission bylaws, these are two things that we're taking right out of there. The commission is empowered to guide land use and development through review and implementation of the Village of Ortonville Master Plan, review of proposed site plan, review and proposal of change in the zoning ordinances, including zoning changes, review of special land use permit applications, and such other powers as are outlined. And then I think this is an important statement here. The Commission shall make every effort within its power to assure the orderly development and growth of the village in a manner that is consistent with and does not jeopardize the special character of the community. And I just want to emphasize that is that our purpose is exactly that. We want to preserve the special character that we have in Ortonville. We feel it's a special place, and one of our goals is to try to ensure that we preserve that and that it'll be there in the future. Next slide. So how do we operate? In general, the Planning Commission is required to perform certain things based upon the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. So to that extent, we have to follow the law of the state of Michigan in regards to what are our roles and responsibilities. There are some things like we are required to develop a master plan. We are required to develop a capital improvement plan, and there's other responsibilities too. We are over the zoning ordinances. In principle, what we try to do when we're operating is we try to take a, you know, step-by-step approach where we consider the facts, the various opinions, other communities, and things like that. We try to pull together all the information, analyze it, evaluate it, and then come up with a good, well-founded decision for the things that are under our jurisdiction. And as I said, it also takes into consideration things happening in the neighboring communities, but for the most part, we take that in consideration, but our priority is on the facts and the independent research and on the best interests of the Village of Ortonville. Next slide. So we have a couple goals for 2018. Right now we are currently working on the Village of Ortonville Master Plan. I'm not going to go through each of these steps in here, but there's certain components that have to be put in the master plan. And our responsibility is to work with the firm that we hired to help us develop that, and with the council and other people like the DDA board, in order to pull all this together into an updated master plan. We also have agreed that we need to work on a capital improvement plan. We want to have a good capital improvement plan in place by the end of this year. And several of us commissioners actually have gone to a workshop already this year to try to get more background and knowledge about how to do that properly. Next slide. Okay, and then the last slide here is just links to the resources and reference material that I had in the presentation. And that's it.
God, you clap for Larry, you didn't clap for me. I must suck, you know, I must be terrible. All right, so the one other thing, and help correct me, and Lee, I'm going to turn to you on this one because you're having sometime in April, you guys are having the joint workshop with us to work on the master plan. Did we need dates tonight, or are we not ready yet because we don't know where the survey's at?
Sooner the better, so people can plan. I don't know. Because this would be a meeting, not necessarily when the village council would have their meeting or we would have our meeting. We meet once a month, so that's something that'd be ideal if we can 2-week notice so people can make plans for that, so we can all try to attend?
Council, do you guys have dates, or do you want us to do a?
Who are the invitees?
Yeah, can we be invited?
I
I think the
What's your
church, I
guys-
think the
The
intention is
stakeholders, that
to,
determine the.
The stakeholder.
yeah, I think that we're gonna try to invite stakeholders, and just for the benefit of everybody in the audience, you guys are stakeholders too, so we definitely want to have public at those meetings too, because this is where we get a lot of good feedback from our communities when people show up to the meetings. So stakeholders, of course, would be our 3 boards, but there's business owners, there's residents. There's a lot of, the school is a stakeholder. We probably could invite Dr. Outlaw here too. So there's a lot of people that we need to consider who we should invite, and maybe Mike Dean could help clarify.
But we're gonna,
Should we do that in our April 3rd meeting though?
okay, so you guys gonna clarify that?
Clarify that.
Yeah, and they book their meeting.
Want to make a note of that, Lee, for?
Liz, what do you want to say?
Well, if I seem to recall, Mike Dean wanted us to come up with a couple of dates in April. So if you are available to give me dates right now, I can take them. I can send out a poll, or we can certainly wait for Mike Dean on Tuesday for the planning commission meeting.
Is he going to be at the April 3rd meeting?
He's not going to have results available, so he will not be at the meeting.
Okay. It's up to you, Lee.
Wait till April 3rd?
Pardon?
Wait till April 3rd and then canvass for dates, or do you want?
Whatever,
Do it right now.
is that convenient with everybody? The village council and
What, to wait?
DDA?
To wait
Well,
till?
I think we could all share
Some dates out.
some dates out now, and then we could.
Liz can send, I don't know if you can, so if we throw dates out now, if we give dates, Liz will send out an email to everyone and ask which of those dates are best.
Is that good?
Yeah.
We can do that first thing Monday morning.
Early
All right.
Tuesday evenings would be best for me.
That's good with you. Wayne?
No,
Good?
How about
Just not the 3rd Thursday of the month.
How about
That's
the
our
week
third
of the-
meeting.
How about the week of the 16th of April? That's the 3rd week in April.
Yeah, I do travel a little bit, so sometimes there's a trip to 23rd.
That would be tough for me, Wayne, because on Tuesday and Thursday that week I'll have certain meetings.
Oh.
That's why I picked the
Oh, no, Lord help us.
Oh, it's a third week.
We're never gonna get 21 people to agree
I'll
on
be
a
hitting
date.
this.
Do the email?
You'll never get 21 people to agree on a
That-
date.
on one, yeah, on the fly.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Pick some dates,
Pick
pick some
dates and send them
dates,
to
and
us.
send an email.
Oh, I'll pick dates.
Okay, cool.
Maybe as a starting point, if people send dates that they know they cannot make a meeting, then she could kind of like plug that in and try to find ones that might fit most people's schedules that way, and then send those dates out.
Does everybody have Liz's email? Here? Because if you guys could do that, that would help out a lot. If you could send back any dates in April you're not available to Liz, then we could put together a matrix and try to figure out a good time. You like that?
Before the weekend?
Matrices?
I close the business tomorrow.
That way she can have.
There is no business tomorrow.
But that would be, we're already on Monday.
And I think it's very important that everybody on the village council, everybody on the planning commission, and the DDA, we need your input. That's part of the administrative function of, is very critical. So, I don't know, if the scenario is maybe you end up with two different dates and people that can't make one, maybe they set up another meeting.
Somehow we all make
Because
sure
what we're doing,
tonight,
we're looking
so-
for input from the major players in the community and the village council and the downtown authority,
You
so.
made it, but you guys are still
We
missing
can
a
get
person
those
and we're
dates to
missing
her on
two,
Monday, would that be
so
good
you're never
for her?
gonna get everything.
Yeah, for this weekend, if you shoot them this weekend, and when we're in first thing Monday, we'll block out some dates if it looks like. And if we have one date where only one person, we'll mark it so you'll see, and then send it out, and we'll go from there. We can put together a chart, that's easy.
So our homework is.
Well, we already got Liz talking about 5S and 6S and lean, and
I hear enough
it's gonna
about
be a
that.
certified clerk and everything. We're pumped.
Certified Six Sigma, it sounds like.
There you go. That's next year.
All right.
Black belt.
Oh,
So,
I got a different type of black belt.
You got the room.
So does he.
is there, okay, so we're gonna, to get the joint meeting together, you guys are gonna send us dates you can't be there. We're gonna send out the matrix probably Monday, and that way you feed back to us, and we'll get with Lee and establish a date, and get the agenda out, and all that good stuff.
So last week at our planning commission meeting, and Wayne was there, we were brainstorming about stakeholder groups or stakeholder individuals. So we got Wayne's information as sort of representative of the village council, but the rest of the council members would like to, any stakeholders you think of, add to the list, so we can make sure we don't miss it.
Isn't it correct, just so the residents here and other people don't mistake it and jump out here if I'm wrong. This first stakeholder meeting is just one of many. There's going to be several stakeholder meetings. You know, there'll be open meetings where we get all the people from the public in, and we're going to try to get all sorts of different stakeholder meetings going on this master plan. So it won't be, don't think if this first one, it's still a public meeting.
it's not one and done.
It's not one and done. It's so.
Several of them. Because even the library is a stakeholder, we need their input.
Bill, guys, and I'm fresh to this, but this meeting that's coming that you're trying to set, what exactly is the goal of that meeting?
It's my understanding, and Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, it's to get together the village council, the DDA, the planning commission for the initial blush of their brainstorming for the master plan.
So there's already a guide of the master plan done?
Well, at this point, we've got
We have our own.
most of the results from the survey. I think that did they call this one? Is this one of those visioning sessions where we start putting together the vision? I think our purpose here is to review that and then start putting together our concepts for the vision.
Gotcha.
And it's not like we're rewriting the whole master plan. There was items that was presented to us by the village council practically a year ago, things that they wanted addressed. So we're covering those major items, but part of the deal is to, the first step, and the first third of it is to go out and do the survey. Now we get into the stakeholders meetings and hash it out. And again, we'll put something together, and a final say of what happens in the master plan is dictated by the village council.
Correct.
Who will facilitate this meeting?
Pardon?
Who will facilitate the meeting?
Dean.
Mike.
That company.
Mike Dean?
Yeah, probably Mike, Dean, and Bill here together would probably try to facilitate.
So
Does that sound right to you, Bill?
That's what we're
Whatever,
paying them for.
I'll do whatever you guys, I work for the village council, I do whatever they tell me to do.
It's in your contract.
You work for the village.
It is in his contract.
Just the
No, that's where you're wrong.
Hey, my tax dollars pay your salary.
That's where you're wrong. Like, what did I say in my interview? I said, I would love to say that I work for the residents of the village of Ortonville. But the charter of Ortonville says that I work for the village council. That's who my boss is, you know, so. I know that one, right? Questions, and I think we're down to questions and answers, right? Are we forgetting anything? We talked about the date, did the exercises. We actually put together, and that's why we did this thing, because I would think that these things that we commonly agree we should be working on might be stuff that we can weave into the master plan too. So, you know, virtually, you know, I mean.
So I have a question.
I know you're going to send out the list in the Venn diagram where we have the overlap, but I would like to see everyone's full list if possible, because there are things that we may further agree on. This might be the first phase, and then who knows what the future holds from there.
Yeah, we might find that a lot of those points that were on other tables, hey, yeah, we can agree on that.
Well,
too.
and we were rushing too, so there wasn't a lot of real discussion time. It's just throwing stuff out there, but great exercise. I love it. I think that's a great starting point.
Cool. Now, I was directed by the village president that I got to tell one joke. And one of the most exciting things that I've had so far is that our folks at the library told a joke at the Brandon Township Library, and I got it the other day. So here's my joke. You ready? Did you hear about the agnostic, insomniac, dyslexic?
No, I didn't hear about it. What about it?
He lied awake all night wondering if there really was a dog. So, with that, if nobody else is... If nobody else has got... We do have a section on the agenda for public comments. We did go around today in the public. Want anything else? We good? All right, I guess we call for... Oh, I'm sorry.
Rick mentioned that he has kind of been involved with natural resources, and that's kind of what he's interested in. We have a really beautiful park, Marin Park, down there on Kersley Creek. Kersley Creek is one of 2 trout streams in Oakland County. Right? Wayne said we need to bring out, unique features and good points of our village. That's been totally ignored, and it is a really big thing. We have a trout stream running through our village, and we have a park on it, and it's undeveloped. Same thing as me trying to get to the village. You can't get there. You have to get in a car to get there. And so I don't know if you might want to jump on this here little trout stream and pursue that. I would like to see that. Now, something when all 3 tables were talking, you're kind of drawing around little circles. We had a big deal with our septic systems and how everything's not working well. The residents profoundly defeated that, 580 something to 60 something. So we're all stuck with septic fields. A lot of the village residents don't have any idea how to work a septic field. They need to be educated. They need to get trees out of their drain fields. They need to know what they can flush down into their tank and what they shouldn't. And all I've ever heard about training people on septic fields is that they get pumped regular. Well, that's a very small part of making a septic field work, getting it pumped. What you put in it and how it's allowed to drain. You have too many trees in your yard, they're not going to work. If we're stuck with septic fields, we should be taught how to use
That's
that.
great. Liz just told me September is Septic Awareness
Month.
So that would
So
be a
there's
good...
some stuff we can put out there for the residents.
Good.
Any other public comments?
Did we not do that already? We had asked for that a while ago and to have a link to Oakland County as well. Yeah, when we were doing the Enviro Assist, that was supposed to go on the website then, exactly what you're talking about, Carl. What, coffee grounds or noodles and
That guy that we hired to come and do the study of our septic.
Yes, that was
He said,
Enviro Assist.
if you have septic fields and they're working, that's what you want.
Yes.
You don't want a sewer system that's going to drain your
So we never put any of that.
We will kill the creek. If you don't have a sewer system, you don't want one.
Any more public comments? Hearing none? Can I call for adjournment? Motion to adjourn? Support?
I feel like it just started.
All those in favor?